So first, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I want to put out a little disclaimer here that I am not in any way saying that everybody needs to agree with me on these points, and all of what is said in this video is my opinion. This is like one of those kind of, I don't know, any kind of commentary or review. It is that commentary or viewer's opinion on something, and I have a right to my opinion. Thank you very much. So the song I'm going to be reviewing for my first episode of reviewing YouTuber songs is going to be called Roads to Recovery. It's by Eva Marie, aka DID Roads to Recovery. Used to be Eva Marie 2247. And if you don't know, I used to, well, I still do, have active beef with this person. I saw their latest video title, and I tend to watch their content to see if they are, considering the last video they uploaded, before this one was about me, I thought, okay, I'm gonna, watch this and see, what, they are doing, and it turned out to be a music video, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good, and as you can tell, there's gonna be some nitpicks later on, because I mean, you can't have I don't know, it's hard to have a 100% positive review unless it's like your favorite song in the entire world. The song is good. I will say I have beef with this person, but their music is good. The only other music I found on their channel was of covers of songs, mainly Christian songs, which explains some of the lyric choices, actually. But anyway, before we get into the full thingy, I have a bit of a recommendation for y'all. Welcome to Broadway Bracelets. I've got a few important questions for y'all during this video. Do you like keychains? You like bracelets? You like Broadway? Last but not least, do you like cute and seasonal themes in your bracelets and keychains? Then we are the shop for you. Come on down and check out.
This video was edited for the Etsy shop, Broadway Bracelets, and the voice recording and editing of this video commercial was done by the owner of Rainbow Thingies Etsy shop.
That is a promo I made for my best friend's Etsy shop, because I've noticed, my Etsy shop, I've been promoting it on here and on other platforms, and it's been doing pretty well, and I will still be putting the link to that in my description. But also, I'll be putting the link to my friend's shop in the description, because I think her stuff is really cool, and honestly, I feel like her stuff probably appeals to a wider audience than mine does. A lot of the stuff in my shop is kind of niche, but anyway, so yeah, feel free to check her out. And now let's get into the video. So I guess now would be a good time to mention an interesting thing. I'm just going to talk about this. I'm going to re-listen to the song after this, but I just want to give my initial thoughts based on the information I have. So for background, what happens with a lot of us, because a lot of us have pretty much shared memory, so we'll remember what someone else does, but it will feel like we're remembering something someone else did that wasn't like us. You know how when you remember something someone told you, like a friend of yours or something, you're remembering something from a secondary source. It feels different than remembering something that you directly did. The weird trippy thing about our brain is that when we remember something that someone else in this brain did, we remember it similarly to how one remembers something that someone else told them. But obviously on a logical level, we know that okay, we're all connected, we all share a brain, body, blah blah blah. So in that sense, we are very much So yeah, this is based off of a thing my headmate watched. My one headmate, who is kind of experimenting with names. Originally, she was just going by like, I don't know, originally she was going by, she just wanted to be called Pine Tree. Like, I use my given name, like my legal name. A lot of us like our legal name, honestly, so we kind of use it collectively, IRL, but then also, like, some of us, that is, like, our name. So she was going by just Pine Tree for a while, and then she decided, oh, I like our legal name, too. And then, so was going by Big Pine Tree, or always Big Pine Tree, and always Big, our legal name. And then now is like, I don't know, maybe I want my own name. I don't know. Like, that's, I guess, just what happens when you, because she took over doing a work situation thingy, that I didn't quite know what to do. So, basically, yeah, we like, our perspective of plurality is that we help each other get through the day, and I know that, like, some people find that their headmates or their alters are more of a hindrance than a help, and others find that they're more of a help than a hindrance. We're definitely on the more of a help than a hindrance. I mean, occasionally it's a hindrance, but a lot of that is just from other people being stupid. But anyway, the point is that from what I know so far, the song musically is great. The first half lyrically is nice. The icks that we get from some of the lyrics are just like personal differences in experience, and we want to validate the fact that just because we don't vibe with everything that this person mentions in their experiences of being disabled does not mean that their experience is wrong. It doesn't mean all experiences are wrong. It just means she has differing experiences and perspectives than we do, and that's fine. We've been disabled, we've been blind since we were like a month old, so that's going to make our experience drastically different than someone who maybe grew up not, grew up not being disabled and then became disabled when they were older, and then, I don't know, like there's just so much nuance. And then, like, obviously, like, the headmate that watched us the other day isn't religious at all, like, not even an atheist, like, does not have an opinion, doesn't really like religion very much, so was not super thrilled about the religious imagery. I have a completely different take on that as someone who is a Christo-pagan, and I am very excited to talk about some theology with you, because I feel like I never get a chance to talk about my theology, because I have a hard time doing that unless it's somehow relevant to something else. So I'm excited to do that in this video. But anyway, I'm gonna listen to the song one more time, just to get a better feel for it, and then we'll break it down into talking about the music. I'll see, like, what different themes there are in the lyrics, and we'll break each of them down. And so when we get to religion, that's when you're going to want to buckle your seatbelts, because it's about to get fun. I'm going to enjoy this. As much as me and this person have beef, I want to make this analysis of this content devoid of that beef as humanly fucking possible. Because, like, yes, I'll still reference that, yes, me and this person have beef, because obviously everybody fucking, if you've watched their channel or my channel, you know that we have beef. This is more just about the music and just sharing the differences and maybe why me and them don't get along, because we have such different perspectives that oppose each other in a lot of ways. So, anyway. Black background with white text that says music. So musically, it is fan-fucking-tastic. I love the country pop vibes. It goes well with her voice. She does have a good voice, I will say that. And it probably helps that it sounds like whatever production she used on this was from an actual app. If you ever heard any of my music stuff, whether it's that diss track I did a couple weeks ago that I edited in iMovie, or the sing-along where I'm singing along in YouTube Shorts, where I just have, like, the song, and then I'm making a short, like, singing along to it. Not the best audio quality, because it's not from an actual... I am so glad that, like, I don't know, because, I mean, like, there are, like, anyone can download, like, Pro Tools or things like that to, like, make music. They are a little on the expensive side, but honestly, in my experience, any kind of computer program generally tends to be expensive, because they take a lot of work, a lot of energy and whatnot, so people gotta get compensated for what they do. And sorry for the wiggly wobbly hand in the video. I do not, unfortunately, know sign language. I do think it would be kind of interesting to learn and to be able to do, like, sign language and talk at the same time, or at least do, like, the finger, what do they call it, like, finger spelling, I believe. Because I'm just naturally always waving my hands around, and it'd be cool to actually, like, do something productive with that. Instead of just, maybe I'll get a fidget toy or something, so I'm not doing that the whole video. But, I like the music. I like her voice. As much as her and I don't get along on a personal level. Nice voice. Good music. Hats off to you. And hats off to whoever did the production on this, whether that was her husband, someone else that they know, whoever did that, hats off to you as well. And the music video is very well shot, in my opinion. I can't see it super well, and that's not anyone's fault. That's just how my eyes work. So everything just looks like pretty colorful blobs, which I like that. So unfortunately, I don't know if there's any symbolism in the music video, so there will not be a part of this review where I talk about the music video, because I am not able to see it. So, yeah. Let's get into the lyrics, because this is where there might be some slight, disagreements on things. Black background with white text that says mental health themes. So, while I do think that this particular creator in their spoken word content has a tendency to say things in a way that is very ableist or promotes stereotypes or ways of speaking about disability that it affect other people outside of this one specific person quite negatively, actually. A lot of the things that she says about, like, herself and her chronic not just the idea about her chronic illnesses and other stuff, is stuff that I, as a disabled from birth person, have had to fight against practically my whole life, but especially more so as I've gotten older. Disability is a sensitive subject for me. I got picked on in school by kids because of my disability, stuff like that. So, a lot of what she says is, I think, counterproductive. It also doesn't help that some of her sources use outdated information. But, that aside, sorry, I keep doing the thing I said I wasn't gonna do. But I guess everyone changes their mind sometimes. So, the, thing is here, the mental health stuff. So, on the one hand, I can recognize that the lyrics of this song are just not for me. They're not representative of my experience, but obviously they're representative of her experience. And there are disabled people who probably also do resonate with her experience of, their disabilities that they have feeling like a burden to them or a hindrance or whatever. That's obviously, I'm coming at this from a completely different experience of things, being the disabilities themselves not necessarily being the hindrance, and society being the hindrance to me more so than the disabilities. But again, that is, my perspective as a late diagnosed ADHD, as someone with generalized anxiety, that I kind of equate to being late diagnosed ADHD, that if I probably wouldn't have anxiety if I wasn't late diagnosed ADHD, although everyone in my family, anxiety runs in the family, so maybe not, maybe I would have found another way to end up with anxiety. And then obviously my plurality, which I do consider a disability, even though it's not a diagnosable thingy. I get similar ableist sentiments lobbed at me for my plurality that I do for my ADHD and anxiety and eyesight stuff. So I stick it in the disability bucket. So, some of the things that she said, obviously, they don't resonate with me personally, but they're not necessarily bad, like identifying as a damsel in distress. not my cup of tea personally. I don't consider myself that, but there are people who do for various reasons, and that is valid. I think a lot of kind of more stereotypically feminine presentations in general tend to get a lot of negative critiques, like a lot of the older Disney princesses and stuff, like, get unfairly criticized, in my opinion. Sometimes. There are fair criticisms, but, like, there's nothing wrong with identifying with that more traditional, like, feminine vibe of, like, I need help, kind of thing. I have the opposite problem. I actually, for an AFAB person, because I identify as, like, a non-binary woman, I have quite a lot of toxic masculinity issues and, like, hyper-independence issues and stuff, and I think some of that is because being disabled in a abled society, you're forced to be those things, to exist. So, anyway, point being, I don't vibe with the mental health portrayals in this song, but they're not, I don't think they're necessarily inherently harmful. But obviously everyone is different and entitled to their own perspectives on this, and poetry is subjective. Music is subjective, art is subjective. So let's get into the next part that is probably going to be the part that is going to anger most people. Black background with white text that says religious themes. Anytime religion is brought up in a song or poetry or whatever, there will always be those people that are like, I don't vibe with this. I think XYZ differently, whatever. One of my favorite songs, and I know this person's, it sucks that this person is also problematic, and I have not bought any of them or listened to any of their music since then, because I liked this song before I knew they were a friggin' Trump nut, but that is Need a Favor by Jelly Roll. There are probably people out there that are like, I don't like the theology in that one. I vibe very well with the theology in that one, because as someone with low spoons a lot of the time, like, mentally, I don't pray to or make offerings to my gods as much as I would like, and so sometimes I feel like I only ever pray to them when I need something. So, which, I know the song is, like, talking about, like, addiction or something and not executive dysfunction, but I can say I relate to it, like the chorus, in a very literal way that it was probably not meant to be taken. But that's okay. Like I said, I'm bringing this up because art is subjective. I could just imagine, like, I'm just imagining right now, like, if you've ever seen Paul and Morgan, I feel like they would, based on the theology they have expressed in their other videos, that they would very much have a problem with this song. I could be wrong. So, anyway, I, would like to get back to the song we're supposed to be reviewing, but I just wanted to put that in there as a disclaimer of theology is complicated. So, my main beef with the theology in this is the idea that when you get to heaven, or whatever afterlife you believe in, God or the gods or whomever is going to heal you and you will be an able-bodied person. I fucking hate this theology so much. And not just in the song, but in general. The line at the end where Eva says something about, like, take me home to be one, she could be referring to being one with God, like one with the spirit, which, based, cool. Or she could be talking about no longer having DID. Which, I don't know, like, if a disorder or disability is a hindrance to someone, I guess them being healed makes sense. But I also just hate the idea that there are no disabled people in the afterlife. I hate that theology so much, because it to me, again, as someone who's lived the majority of their life, like, my retinas detached when I was, like, 1 month old. I was, like, born premature, so, like, I was technically, born early or whatever, and it caused my retinas to detach, blah, 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 50% chance of not having any eyesight at all. I have had someone try to faith heal me. I think now that I know that, because I didn't know that percentage was that insane until my dad was telling his girlfriend at the time about it. So this was like a fairly recent thing I learned. I did not realize that it was a 50-50 chance of not being able to see it at all. So the sight I have, definitely think a god or gods was looking after me at that time. Because, you know, that's pretty cool. And then I guess I also got sick in the hospital before that anyway, so my time in the hospital as a baby was not a fun time. But that's beside the point. The point is, I have been born, essentially, I would consider myself having been born blind. Because, again, I literally only had, like, a month and a half or whatever of full sight, which is not very long. So, for as long as I've been able to remember things, I have had the same eyesight. If you can't tell, kids used to make fun of me for this quite a bit. I can only see with one eye or the other, so when I'm looking
I was trying to say
right
before
now,
my camera cut out, my eyes kind of move around, and whatever I am not looking out of, it just kind of goes all over the place. Anyway, the point is that the disability representation in this song, obviously not all music has to represent disabled people, but the frustrating part is this creator in particular likes to say that how they represent it is the way to represent it. So there's that. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, I have complicated thoughts, and feel free to leave your complicated thoughts in the comments.
So, beyond the ableist issues I have with the whole no disabled people in the afterlife and all that, I also, sorry, my camera ran out of storage. I had to fix that, or my phone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, point is, all that, I also just think it's theologically inaccurate because, okay, even in the DSM acknowledges that DID symptoms cannot be part of accepted religious or cultural practices. Meaning there are, you know, people who have spiritual experiences of either dissociation or plurality or whatever. So, I think it is important to acknowledge that if that's true for other religions, why wouldn't that be true for Christianity? Like, why does, like, and even the theory of structural dissociation doesn't necessarily leave room for this idea that in the afterlife you could be plural, because the whole thing is like, oh, all these different parts of a person's ego or whatever the heck don't stick together properly because they went through a bunch of shit. So if that's how that happened, and obviously there are people that, like, once they process the trauma, the headmates go squish. And then there's the people that they process the trauma and the headmates don't necessarily go squish. So, with that being said, nothing wrong with final fusion or integrating completely together. Nothing wrong with any of that. This isn't saying that that's wrong. And maybe in Eva's case, that's what's going to happen. The issue I have with this is a lot of people have the idea that, oh, once you're in heaven, you're going to be disabled. And also the idea that we only have one soul. A lot of religions don't believe that we only have one soul, but that is beside the point. So yeah, my point being is from a Christo-pagan's perspective, the theology of you will be one person in heaven when you've lived your life as plural or being different, your ego not squishing properly, whatever however you think of that, with the structural dissociation thingy. That doesn't, I don't think that, like, I think disabilities exist for a reason, and I think those disabilities are not, like, they might come from traumatic circumstances, like, okay, my gun is detached because a doctor wasn't doing his damn job, and checking, that's why they got left so bad, is whoever was in charge of checking on my retinas didn't do it properly, didn't do it enough, something like that, they fucked up somehow.
and that's how my eyes got to be the way they are. That doesn't make my eyesight bad. That makes the trauma bad. Well, and I use trauma loosely here because I don't feel like I was traumatized by that, but, like, obviously there's, like, psychological trauma and then, like, physical trauma, like, and I think that would fit into the physical trauma category, because, I mean, something did happen to my body that needed to be, like, surgically fixed. But that is beside the point. Like, my eyesight isn't the issue, and I somewhat feel like, and I've even heard some people who... So, I think I kind of lost the plot there and kept kind of flip-flopping between two topics, but essentially I think you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying, is that I think promoting the idea that disabled people become able-bodied in the afterlife is inherently harmful to everyone. Obviously, there's nuance to that for sure, but that's just my main opinion on that. So, overall, my opinion on the whole song is that it's not bad. Like, obviously, I don't personally vibe with most of it. I wish the lyrics were as good as the music, but hey, you know, to each their own. And, yeah, I think the next song I'm gonna review, unless someone, like, suggests something, is I Love You, Jesus by Trisha Paytas. Because I know the chorus because it was kind of a meme for a while, and it's stuck in my head every so often. So, yeah.